Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us for another webinar hosted by Cooperation Africa. It is indeed great to have you with us. Please note that this session is being recorded. And as some of you may already know, Cooperation Africa is an organization that is dedicated to promoting and supporting cooperative development across the continent. And this webinar is part of our knowledge sharing program, and it's an ongoing effort to raise awareness, share experiences, and strengthen the cooperative movement here in Africa. My name is Ebenezer Abrokwa, and I will be your moderator for today's session. Please kindly take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us your name, the organization you represent, and where you're joining us from. And throughout the session, feel free to drop your questions or comments in the Q&A section. Today's session will run for about an hour or maybe an hour and 15 minutes at most. Our speaker will speak for about 35 minutes, and then we'll move on into questions and answers for about 15 minutes. We also have interpretation into French, so please use the interpretation link to access the language of your choice. Before we hear our speaker for today, for the benefit of those who do not know much about Cooperation Africa, let me say a few words about Cooperation Africa. Cooperation Africa is a membership organization registered in and operating out of Ghana, and with members from across Africa and beyond. We support cooperatives because as businesses owned and democratically managed by their members, cooperatives help those members to achieve higher and more secure standards of living. Cooperatives may be categorized into three broad groups. We have producer cooperatives, consumer cooperatives, and multi-stakeholder cooperatives. As an organization, we are of the view that if African countries have more and stronger cooperatives, they will be better able to provide more secure employment and better standards of living to their members. We also strive to promote cooperatives, firstly through country research into cooperatives, followed by advocacy, and secondly through knowledge sharing events for those wishing to set up or grow their own cooperatives. And finally, by providing finance to support cooperatives. As part of our current activities, in addition to these webinars, we also publish a monthly digest of news about cooperatives in Africa called Mapigo. You can subscribe to the news bulletin on our website. We currently have our June issue of Mapigo currently on the website. So please feel free to log on to cooperationafrica.org and check out the June issue of Mapigo. We currently have also commissioned 4 research reports into the enabling and inhibiting factors that affect cooperative formation and development in Zambia. And these factors include awareness about cooperatives, the political and legal landscape, a range of socioeconomic factors, and finally, financial and technical support. We plan to launch the findings of this research in August this year during the International Hybrid Conference, which is being organized by Cooperation Africa and will be held in Zambia from the 24th to the 26th of August. And it will also be a hybrid event. So for those of you who can join us in Zambia, you can register and join us online during the conference. We'll be launching the findings of the research into cooperatives in Zambia at the conference. We welcome as members all those, whether individuals or organizations, who are willing to actively help bring about a more cooperative and self-reliant Africa. Please see the membership section on our website and join us in building the kind of Africa that you want. And so now to introduce the speaker for today's webinar, Our speaker for today is Mr. Michael Mwangi from Meru Dairy Cooperative Union, and it is one of Kenya's largest dairy cooperative and the processor of Mount Kenya milk products. Meru Central Dairy Cooperative has grown into a major player in Kenya's dairy sector, serving farmers and consumers through cooperative enterprise. Mr. Mwangi serves as the corporate and institutional sales officer, and in this role, he's responsible for managing corporate and institutional accounts, including hotels, restaurants, schools, and companies. His work also involves supporting collaborations and public relations, serving as a liaison between Meru Dairy and external stakeholders, and also contributing to brand building, reputational management, and corporate engagement. We are delighted to have him with us today as he shares insights and experience from Meru Central Dairy Cooperative Union. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Michael Mwangi. Mr. Michael Mwangi, we are pleased to have you with us to talk to us about Meru Central Dairy Cooperative. So kindly unmute, share your screen, and begin your presentation. Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I hope you can hear me well.
I can hear you, but I think there's a little bit of an echo in the background.
Is it better now?
It is, but there's still slightly a little bit of an echo. Whenever you talk, there's an echo in the background.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a moment.
Okay. Okay.
Is it better now, or there's still some echo?
Slightly better, but still there's still a little bit of echo.
Apologies for that. Just one moment. Moved. I hope it is much better than it was before.
Yeah, it's still there, but slightly better.
I'd like to begin the session, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, please go ahead.
For introductions, my name is Mike Mwangi. As the moderator has said, I represent Meru Central Dairy, and I'm in charge of corporate accounts here at Meru Central Dairy. And I also do stakeholder engagement for sessions like this one. And I'm privileged to have you all here for this webinar. And if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to commence the presentation, if that's okay. So, first thing first.
Hello, Mike. There's still the background noise is still it's really interfering. Whenever you talk, it really takes away the.
Apologies for that. Give me just one second, kindly.
Okay.
I'm back now. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, yeah. Please proceed and let's see how it sounds now.
So as I was saying, I'd like to commence the webinar now. So first thing first, on matters introduction, Meru Central Dairy Cooperative Union, popularly known through our flagship product, Mount Kenya Milk, is a dairy society that is headquartered in a town called Meru in Kenya. It's just around 200 kilometers from the capital city, in the eastern slopes of Mount Kenya. The strategic location of where we are located is a very nice place because there's a vast network of dairy farmers across the area because the area is very cold. Hence, it's very fertile and we're able to do agriculture in the area because of the fact that the place is cool. There's good climate there for farming. And Meru Central Dairy operates a modern dairy processing factory. We have currently a milk intake of around 640,000 liters of milk that we collect per day, making us one of the largest dairy processors here in Kenya. We receive milk from around 150,000 farmers, and we apply the processing technologies, including pasteurization, homogenization, packaging, and use a quality control system that meet national and international food safety standards. The union manufactures a wide range of products under the Mount Kenya Milk brand. For example, a fresh pasteurized milk, long life milk, yogurt, fermented milk, and ghee. So we have a brief history of how we came to be. So the dairy cooperative was formed way back in 1967. It started with around three dairy societies, namely Katheri, Nari, and Gori. In the past days, we used to have districts. So at the moment, they formed together to form the Meru District Dairy Union. And the aim was to pool resources so that we can be able to transport milk to the nearest processing plant. Because if you're aware, milk is it is a perishable product. So it is imperative that once you produce milk, you have to take it to the nearest cooling center so that you can be able to preserve the milk not to go bad. So as I continue, in 1972, the Ministry of Cooperative Development directed that each district should have only one cooperative union. And as a result, the dairy union merged with the Meru African Coffee Cooperative Union to form the Meru Central Farmers Cooperative Union, where it now operated as a larger union in conjunction with coffee and milk. And so to improve milk distribution, the union installed a semi-manual chilling and packaging system in 1978, whereby they started now to pack milk. And this innovation increased the revenue and demonstrated the potential of dairy processing in the region. So as I continue, in the year 1982, with the support of the FINIDA, the Finnish International Development Agency, sorry, just a moment. Sorry about that. I was saying, in 1982, with the support of the Finnish International Development Agency, we were able to establish our first milk processing plant in Meru and started now packing milk. We had a small capacity of packing milk of around 20,000 liters per day. We used to apply the process called ultra heat treatment. And as we moved on, the plant was able to reach full capacity than anticipated. And from then on, between the years 1987 and 1992, the plans were made to expand the factory, whereby now a 230 million processing facility was done to at least be able to accommodate more milk and to establish production of other high-value products like yogurt, lala, ghee, and ice cream. So as I continue in the year 1995, the union introduced its own artificial insemination services, reducing the need for us to rely on the government, as now, since that time, the farmers used to do the old method of breeding. And introducing artificial insemination is a good method that was able to really benefit the farmers at that time. And as a result, after that, there was a commission of inquiry which had been done to separate the two entities. If you can remember, we had to merge with the African, the Meru Coffee Cooperative Union. And now after that, the separation now, it happened in the year 2005, whereby now the coffee sector and the dairy sector were able to go in different ways. And now Meru Central Dairy now operates under the brand Mount Kenya Milk and has grown to be one of the largest dairy cooperatives in Kenya. So I prepared a small summary of how we were able to develop from how we used to be districts, from the merger with the Coffee Cooperative Union, which now operates separate from the dairy one. And then from the year that we started now doing chilling and packing. And after that, I've also indicated the year that we established our first processing plant. The year that we expanded the dairy factory, that was in 1992. And then in 1995, as I had said, we launched the artificial insemination services. And then soon after, there was now the full registration of Meru Central Dairy as a sole entity without it being merged with the coffee sector. And now we are operating as a single entity, separate from the Coffee Cooperative Society. So the mission of the company is to improve the quality of life of our dairy farmers, our customers and staff, by processing and marketing high quality, affordable dairy products, because we get milk from farmers. So it's our responsibility to ensure that the farmers are able to trust us with their milk, because we have to prepare the monthly payments every month. Here in Kenya, it is stipulated by the government that you're supposed to remit the farmers' dues per month. So every single month, we usually do a payout to them because they give us milk for free for the first 30 days. So it's our sole responsibility to be able to process that milk. We pack it, and then we sell it so that we can be able to remit the dues to the farmers that support us. And our vision is to be the most reputable processor of dairy products. Here in Kenya, there are various entities that produce milk, but by virtue of our status quo and how we have been able to grow and establish ourselves as one of the leading dairy cooperative societies, we aim to be at the top par of the producers of milk in Kenya. And in summary, the Dairy Cooperative Union organizes the dairy farmers. We provide them with the services to access the market. We process and pack their milk. And ultimately, we look forward to improve the economic and social well-being. I hope audible enough and you can be able to hear me.
Yeah, it's much better.
Thank you. As I proceed, so the main purpose of us having a dairy cooperative organization is to be able to, as I have said, to market farmers' milk. Because the other benefit that came from pooling resources, because in the past, the farmers used to sell their own milk by themselves. Like, for example, you milk your own cow, you sell your own milk. They never used to have any cooling facilities or being able to get milk products or to pasteurize or homogenize the milk so that we can be able to get products that can stay up to 90 days or 180 days. So pulling together now is a much better strategy, as now we are able to sell their milk as a brand. We sell it under the Mount Kenya Milk brand, and we have various SKUs, not limited to just milk. We also have yogurt, we have sour milk. We call it here in Kenya maziwa lala, and ghee. Ghee is used to prepare food. You can cook with it. It's basically a cooking oil that comes from cow's milk. So the next purpose is to improve the farmer's income. In the past, the farmers used to encounter a few losses due to the fact that they were unable to afford cooling facilities. They were unable to be able to completely sell the whole consignment of milk. So by pulling together now, we can be able to at least preserve the milk longer to avoid wastages and to be able to sell the whole consignment of the farmers, hence now improving their own incomes. We also have helped the farmers to increase their own milk production through education, of course. And now, by virtue of also doing the modern agricultural practices like artificial insemination, improved breeding, since we also provide extension services and veterinary services to our farmers, we're able to give them more better value than just selling their milk. So by pulling together, we're able to offer the services pro bono. We don't charge them for extension and veterinary services. And in that, we're able to add more value to the farmers. And we're also able to make more products. And now, after that, we also we're able to support the rural development by creating employment, improving the livelihood of farmers, and also to contribute to the economic growth of Meru as a town. Meru is a small town. It's a small agricultural town just north of the capital city, Nairobi. So by virtue of that, we are able to establish Meru as a champion of agriculture and also to be able to add to the country. So in terms of structure and decision making of the cooperative society, as I had said, Meru Central Dairy is owned by the farmers. It is not an incorporated company. It is registered under the Ministry of Cooperatives here in Kenya. And at the moment, at the foundation, we have around 161,000 farmers, and they're organized into 168 societies, who now they elect around 80 delegates to represent their own interests. And then after that, the delegates, they form the board of management. It is usually a team of around 11 members responsible for strategic oversight and policy direction of how the company is run. And then after the board of management, there's now the chief executive officer who leads the union day-to-day operations, supported by a professional workforce, now us, to be able to achieve the goal of the union and achieve the mission of the Dairy Cooperative Society. And the layered system now from farmers to the societies, the delegates, the board, we are able to embody the cooperative principles, guaranteeing that the decisions that are made from the grassroots up to now, the staff who now do the actual mandate of the company are maintaining professional efficiency. So there's now the organizational structure that I have just orated to you. From now, the farmers, who are the ones who give us milk, and then now down to the societies of how the farmers have grouped themselves. Normally, the societies are in they are formed geographically, depending on how close they are to one another. And then from then on, I mentioned the delegates who form the board of management, usually a team of 11 members. And then from there, now down to the CEO who runs the company, the day-to-day operations. And then now down to the staff. As I move on, the goals of the company. At the moment, we look to increase milk production. As I go on with the presentation, you'll be able to see like how we have a goal of attaining around 1 million liters of milk. Here in Kenya at the moment, the population is really growing. And then also the need to be able to drink safe milk and to be able to preserve the milk is a goal. So now through packing, pasteurization, homogenization is a good and safe way of making milk safe for everyone for consumption. So our other goal is to be able to provide the farmers with a reliable market, and also as I have mentioned, to increase their own incomes. Previously, there used to be a lot of middlemen who were able to benefit more than the farmers, and they are basically just using the farmers because the main aim of the farmer is to be able to produce the product. And now, by virtue of now forming a dairy cooperative society, they're able to eliminate the middlemen and add more value to the farmers through also organized marketing. Our other goal is to process and add value to milk, as we are now able to make milk byproducts, like I have said, like yogurt, sour milk, cooking cream, ghee. And in that way, also, we're able to diversify our SKUs, our portfolios, and offering even more addition of value to the farmers than just milk. As I've mentioned, we also provide veterinary services. At the moment, geographically, we also look to export our milk to further markets, and also to promote the rural development. As I have said, that Meru is a small town, is a small agricultural town that is driven by agriculture. The main source of income, of livelihood of the county is agriculture. So we are promoting the rural development by giving them employment opportunities at the company, to increase their own incomes, and generally to just increase the economic growth of the Mount Kenya region. As I continue, we're able to also enhance a cooperative growth and sustainability by being able to show how pulling farmers together is a good idea, and the value that is it brings by forming a dairy cooperative than just serving as a sole entity. And for that, the main lessons that we have learned from that is by pulling together, we're able to come up with strong cooperative governance, which also promotes transparency and accountability. And then also the commitment and participation of members. The participation of members now is better. Decisions are made in conjunction with all the farmers. So in that way, pulling together shows the the value that is now added to the farmers in terms of also the revenue streams, and now being able to come up with a product that is competitive in the market. The other lesson that we have learned is quality assurance. By pulling all the milk together, you're able to ascertain that the milk is of high quality. And in that regard, you're able to build consumer trust, and you can be able to also access the premium markets who usually consume high value products. So we've also learned that capacity building for our farmers is also good. They've also been able to learn new dairy farming practices to be able to maintain good animal health, and also being able to handle milk. And then also the other lesson we've learned is that by expanding the market channels, we're able to reduce the dependence on a single buyer. And also in that way, we're able to strengthen business resilience. So as I continue, the other lessons that we have learned, as I have mentioned, capacity building, the market diversification, and then as I continue, you also be able to see that we've been able to come up with a few subsidiary companies that they add further value to the farmers. Like now we have a dairy, a SACCO, here at our company, whereby we're able to provide the farmers with credit facilities and to be able to show them the modern ways of saving. And through the adoption of technology now, they've been able to see the efficiency and operational performance. And in that way as well, we've been able to see that we've been able to make strategic partnerships together with the government agencies and development partners, like how I've mentioned how the Finnish development agency has been able to support us through the journey of our growth from a small dairy society to the champion that we are now. And the other lesson that we've learned also is by focusing on the farmers' welfare, we are able to strengthen their commitment and trust, ensuring that we build a reliable milk supply base. Then we have encountered a few challenges here and there in our growth. For example, the cost of feeds here in Kenya is a bit expensive. And once the feeds are expensive, the cost of milk production it goes high, and a failure to feed the animals adequately can reduce the milk supply, of which it's the milk that we rely on the farmers to give us, so that we can be able to sell their milk, and then also being able to meet the quotas that our consumers are requesting for. And the other challenge we've faced as well is like last year here in Kenya, there was a drought, and there was a lot of shortage of fodder. And during the dry seasons, there are times there's a lower milk production due to that. Yeah. And then the next point is the challenge that we have also faced is that there've been a lot of the price fluctuations, which is affecting the farmers' income. The fluctuations mainly come from the increase in cost of production of milk, like say increase in cost of power. We use power to pack milk, and also the time that we have to rely on diesel generators to cool milk, because the first thing that you have to do once you get milk is to cool it down, so that you can be able to preserve it not to go bad. So some of those factors are affecting how the profitability of the dairy society. And in that way, there are times that it can really inhibit our ability to pay suppliers, to pay salaries, to pay out the farmers, so on and so forth. The other challenge we have also faced is that there are some places whereby there is no enough infrastructure to cool milk. With milk, the cold chain is very important, very, very important, because milk is a very perishable product. So as I have mentioned, the first thing to do with milk, once you get milk, you have to cool it down. In that way, once you cool the milk, you're able to ensure that it doesn't go bad. Until now, it can be pasteurized to kill any bacteria that is in the milk, and then it is treated with ultra high heat. And then after that, it is cooled now so that it can be able to be packed. We have also encountered a lot of competition from other dairy processors. And as I had mentioned, a dairy society is not a for-profit company, because the main reason why farmers pull together is to be able to sell their milk, to be able to pay suppliers, and to be able to pay salaries to the staff. So it is not built to be a for-profit company. There are some companies here in Kenya that are for-profit companies, and we face some competition from them, because there are times they tend to get milk at lower prices, because their main aim is not to provide value addition to the farmer. Their main aim is to make profits, because it is run as a business. But for cooperative society, it is mainly aimed at providing much better a value to the farmer as the most important person in the whole workflow of milk production is the farmer, because without milk you can't be able to have a product. So for dairy cooperative society, we provide the main value to the farmer as they are the producer of milk. As I had mentioned, the high production costs is also a challenge that we have also faced. And then we have also had illegal milk imports, especially from our neighboring countries. And once that happens, they tend to sell the milk at lower prices, prompting us now to also us are selling the milk at lower prices. And selling the milk at lower prices, now we at times don't provide the the service that the farmer deserves. So in terms of the impact of Meru Dairy and the success of Meru Dairy as a dairy cooperative society here in Kenya is that we have been able to grow in a milk collection and processing over the years. And as I have mentioned, from the moment we started with around 10,000 liters. And currently we are doing around 620,000 liters per day. We aim by the end of the year or by first quarter of 2027 to be able to reach the goal of processing 1 million liters. And then the other success is that we have seen the growth of our farmers. Farming has become a sort of employment per se, especially also due to the fact that here in Kenya at the moment, jobs are in short supply. So if you're able to employ yourself as a farmer, it is now a career that one can also choose to emulate, and you can sell your milk to a dairy cooperative society, and then they will be able to pay you back in a month's time for the milk that you have supplied to them. So Meru Dairy has grown to be one of the leading processors of milk. We currently command around 31 to 33% of the dairy market share in Kenya, which is an impressive feat for a dairy society that is not a for-profit company to achieve that. I hope you're still together as I proceed. So our other success is the value addition we've been able to provide. I believe there are some countries here in Africa that are not able to pack their milk. They do not have the capability or processing facility to be able to also get byproducts from milk. So it is one of the successes that we can say we have made as a dairy cooperative society. And in that, we've been able to improve the farmers' incomes. and also to be able to provide support services like artificial insemination, training, extension services, so on and so forth. Our other success is that we have been recognized by the regulatory body in Kenya. It's called the Kenya Dairy Board, as one of the fastest growing milk processors in the country. And in the year 2026, we have also won the Company of the Year award in the dairy, and we also won the Africa Dairy Industry Awards as a dairy development champion. And we have also gotten international recognition by virtue of the fact that the principles that we stand for and the fact that we value the farmer being one of the most important people in the workflow of milk production to monetizing milk as a product. So, and for that, we have also been able to achieve the international standards, allowing us now to be able to export our milk to the outside market. Like, say, we are trying to venture into UN. They have a lot of milk demand at the moment, and most of the African countries are not able to satisfy the quotas of milk that they want. So by getting the ISO certification for food safety management now, we can now champion the exportation of our products to other countries, say West Africa, Northern Africa, South Africa, so on and so forth. And as I had mentioned, we have grown now. We have around 2 other subsidiary companies. One is the Meru Dairy Sacco, as I had mentioned, which provides the credit to dairy farmers. They used to get loans from expensive financial lenders. And at least now, by having a company that is owned by them, they're able to provide affordable credit. And also by coming up now with Meru Maziwa Millers, we've been able to come up with a company that can be able to make high quality animal feeds at a lower price. In that, we can be able to reduce the cost of production of milk, and then also increasing milk production. So as I conclude, Meru Central Dairy can stand as a testament to the strength of a cooperative enterprise by virtue of the fact that it has transformed the livelihood of our dairy farmers in Kenya. And over the years, the union has evolved from a milk collection facility, and now we have also become a marketing organization that supports value addition, financial inclusion, and we've been able to provide farmers with market access across the region and across the country. A key indicator also, as I have mentioned, is the fact that we've been able to come up with 2 subsidiary companies that will further aid the company to be even much more better than it was. And to be specific, the milling company also can be able to make a fodder for the other animals now as a business. Not only will it be now making a food and fodder for only cows, they can also make food and fodder for pigs, for chicken, for camels, so on and so forth. Looking ahead, as I had said, we have set an ambitious target of attaining around 1 million liters per day. We are currently doing around 650,000 liters per day. And achieving this milestone, it will require continued investment in our farmer productivity, quality assurance, infrastructure development, technology adoption, and market expansion. We also look forward now to penetrate the regional and international export market so that we can be able to position Meru Dairy as a competitive a brand beyond the borders. The realization of these goals will not only strengthen the union's financial sustainability, but it will also create employment opportunities, as I had mentioned of the current situation here in Kenya, and we will also be able to increase the foreign exchange earnings, like now at the moment we just are selling within the Kenyan borders. We have only ventured into northern Tanzania and a small portion of Uganda, and by that we will also now be able to enhance our food security and contribute significantly to Kenya's economic growth. And as we build on the legacy of Mount Kenya, we are well positioned to become a leading dairy cooperative society in East Africa, and we look forward to deliver long-lasting value to its members, our stakeholders, and the nation as large. That was my presentation. I believe I've been able to provide good insight into how we have come to be, our journey from how small we were, and the journey to where we are going. I believe I've also demonstrated how a dairy cooperative society has been of such value to the farmers in Kenya. And for that, I think I will welcome any questions that might be there. I'd like to pass over the mic back to the moderator to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi, for the presentation and sharing Meru Dairy's experiences and transition over the years. Please kindly put your questions in the chat, and I'll read them out to Mr. Mwangi, and then he would answer your questions. I think for me, my first question would be that how, as an organization, how do you ensure that the farmers who provide you the milk are paid on time for the milk that they supply? Is it that when they give you the milk, as you are saying that you currently take up to about 600,000 plus liters of milk on a daily basis? Is it that whenever they provide the milk, you pay them, or maybe they take their monies at the end of the month or a weekly basis? How does that work? And how do you also ensure that they are paid fairly for the milk that they provide?
Thank you for the opportunity. So I'm going to answer your two-part question. One, there's a legislation here in Kenya of the minimum amount that we are supposed to pay farmers. And by virtue of not being a for-profit company, as I have said, we have a minimum amount that we have to pay farmers, which is slightly higher than the for-profit companies. For example, you might find that, say, at the moment, a for-profit company is buying the milk from a typical farmer at around, say, 50 Kenyan shillings. We pay a much higher price to them by virtue of the fact that, as I have said, the most important person in the chain of a dairy cooperative society is a farmer. So by doing that, we now attract more farmers because they know that they can be able to get more money from us than for-profit companies. And for the second part, we pay them. The legislation here in Kenya is they have to be paid monthly. So they give us milk voluntarily per day. So we record the number of liters we get from every dairy cooperative society. We have around 160, 170 of them. So we record the amount of milk that they've given us. Say on first, maybe they gave us 20,000 liters. On second, they gave us 19,000 liters. So cumulatively, we calculate that. So at the end of the month, because we produce and sell, so at the end of the month, say around between 1st and 5th of the preceding month, we now pay them more of a salary for the milk that they have produced for that entire month. I hope I have been able to answer that question.
Yeah, thank you very much. There are a few questions in the chat, so I'll read a number of them and then you can answer all of them together. So the first one is, what is the gender structure of the cooperative? What is the gender structure of the cooperative? The second question is, what is the age structure of the cooperative? What is the age structure of the cooperative? Next question will be, how do you invest in improved dairy production techniques? Is it from within the cooperative or do you secure from outside the cooperative? I'll take that again. How do you invest in improved dairy production techniques? Is it from within the cooperative or do you secure from outside the cooperative? A follow-up question to that would be, how do you expect to be impacted by the African Continental Free Trade Area? How do you expect to be impacted by the African Continental Free Trade Area? So let's do this set of questions and then I'll go on to read the next set of questions.
So the first question was the gender structure of the cooperative union. So we do not really discriminate. Anyone can be a member of the dairy cooperative society. So we are more of, like for the company itself, we are almost at 50-50. Say if it goes higher, say because of the virtue of the fact that our men can be able, kindly a moment, just a moment. Apologies for that. So I was saying about the gender structure of the dairy cooperative society. Maybe in production, there are more men than women because of the fact that men are laborers. They do the heavy lifting, but we do not discriminate. There's almost a gender balance in the company. So in terms of gender structure, I can only give it percentages. And at the moment, I think we are at almost 50-50. The second question was about age structure. So about the age structure as well, we do not discriminate. We have all the way, in Kenya, you have to have attained the age of at least 18 years to be able to work. That's how it's stipulated by the labor laws in Kenya. So it spans from around 18 years of age to around the retirement age of Kenya, or around 60 years old. But further than that, farmers, you can be a farmer for as long as you can. There's no age limit for being a farmer. It's just that for the labor laws in Kenya, you just have to be in between the age of around 18 years old to around 60 years old. How do we invest to improve the dairy production techniques? So investment is very crucial. We also try and obtain a credit facility to be able to improve our production. Like say, for example, at the moment we are looking to produce butter. We've also increased our production of yogurt. So there is continued investment. So we get our credit facilities, and then also we have projects whereby we save to achieve a certain goal. And then there are also technology companies that they have a good, a friendlier payment terms. So you find that they give us the machine with an initial investment of a few amounts of money, and then as we go on, as the machine is now in production, we are able to leverage the equipment to be able to increase the revenue that we can be able to generate. The question about how it is going to impact the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, I have to get back to you on that. There is currently a team that is championing the export market here in Kenya. It's a market that we have not really ventured into at the moment. For the previous few years, we have been focusing on the market here in Kenya because our production capacity was only able to produce milk for the people here in the country. It's only just that we were able to venture into the border countries like northern Tanzania and a small part of Uganda, whereby they did not have packed products, the packed milk products. But now there's a team in place that is really championing the export market. So for that question, if you allow me, I'd like to get back to you with an answer. I think that's in order. You can hand over the mic back to the moderator.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mwangi. Continuing the questions, we have, what do you do with respect to cooperation among cooperatives? What do you do with respect to cooperation among cooperatives? To what extent do you rely on your own resources for financing? And to what extent from external resources? So the second question is, to what extent do you rely on your own resources for financing? And to what extent from external sources? Third question, who decides on the salaries of the staff that the cooperative has? Who decides on the salaries of the staff that the cooperative has? Fourth question will be, does your cooperative have an indivisible reserve? Does your cooperative have an indivisible reserve? Okay, yeah, so we can keep it at that fifth question. I think there's another set of 4 questions. So after you're done with this response, then we take those ones and then we call it a day on today's session. Thank you.
To the next question, how do we respect cooperation among cooperatives?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. So with respect to the cooperation among cooperatives, like say, for example, the region where we get milk, the Mount Kenya region, there are farmers who have, like we used to have 2 other companies when we were a district. There was the coffee cooperative union, and then there was another one for millers, but that one was sold to another subsidiary company. Yeah. So with respect to the virtue of the fact that some of them have different products, they really encourage cooperation because, like, for example, we can go hand in hand with coffee by virtue of the fact that to be able to to use milk, mainly milk is bought for tea and coffee. So by virtue of that, we are able to leverage on the market of say a coffee cooperative society and a tea cooperative society, because they're also tea cooperative societies. And by virtue of that, it also now aids in the development of the growth or development of the other cooperative societies. So it's more of a team effort than a competition. And with respect to the other dairy cooperatives in the region whereby we get our milk, we are the only dairy cooperative society in that region. But in the other parts of Kenya, there are several other dairy cooperatives, although they are not as big as us. And some of them do not have the history, or they do not have the capability in terms of machines to produce as much milk as we can. So for them, they are just segregated geographically, and we usually train them. They come and do benchmarking and see our practices that we do, how we pack our milk. They see how the ISO certification comes to be, and for that, they can be able to learn from our success as a dairy cooperative society. On the next question on who decides the salaries of the staff that the cooperative has. So there usually is a competitive a sourcing of employees. So like, for example, we have a human resource officer or manager, sorry. Say there's a position in engineering, say there's a position in lab, there's a position in transport. They usually do an advertisement of the role that they are seeking to recruit, and now they do a competitive listing whereby they peruse the CVs of the individuals that have applied, and then through that they are able to now come up with a salary depending on the level of education one has, the level of experience that one has. So in that way, they are just able to come up with a figure that they can pay a staff depending on those factors. And then the next question was, does your cooperative society have an indivisible reserve? I do not think that we have that at the moment, but we have been able to leverage on the strong relationship that we have with the banks. As much as we've been able to come up with our own a credit facility, but that one mainly just goes to farmers. But there are times we get grants by the government, say they are trying to push a lot of milk production in Kenya, or probably they are trying to champion agriculture, to leverage it as a means to come up with employment. So for the question that if we have an indivisible reserve, I think I'd say no. It's just that we are given a credit limit basically by a bank. So say depending on our turnover or cash flows, they can be able to give us funding that can say aid us in our growth, or probably any project that we are undertaking at the moment. But since we are a non-profit entity, there are times that we get profit, and it is mainly distributed to the staff, the farmers, and the stakeholders that are there in the whole workflow, from the farmers to people who have really needed us, and also they champion and sponsor small farmer oriented groups and projects. And then also we give back to the society for schools, to champion education. Like now we have a project for schools for the milk for kids. There are times we do a project to support the hungry, to support the schools that are in the drought areas like northern Kenya, so on and so forth. I hope I've answered the questions to the best of my ability.
Yeah. So thank you. We're moving to the last set of questions. So the first one is, are you taxed by the government, and if so, at what rate? Are you taxed by the government, and if so, at what rate? What is the balance between exports to other African countries compared to exports to countries outside Africa? What is the balance between exports to other African countries and exports to countries outside Africa? And then the last but one question is, what difficulties did you encounter at the beginning, and what solution approaches did you use to overcome those difficulties? What difficulties did you encounter at the beginning, and what solution approaches did you use to overcome those difficulties? And the sort of like an add-on to that question is, how do you manage differences of opinions among the members of your cooperative? How do you manage differences of opinions among the members of your cooperative? And then the last question in this set is, do you have any other business activities linked to the dairy cooperative, like field visits and agri-tourism? That is opening paid visiting days for school children, adults, or other groups. Do you have any other business activities linked to the dairy cooperative, like field visits and agri-tourism? And that is opening paid visiting days for school children, adults, and other groups. There are a few more questions. So let me just add it and then we can, yeah. So, sixth question, are you part of a national dairy cooperative federation in Kenya? What about the National Cooperative Confederation? What rule is used to distribute the profit the dairy makes? What rule is used to distribute the profit the dairy makes? And the last question for this session is, how much of the profit the dairy makes is distributed to members, and how much is retained by the cooperative? So, looking at the profit you make as a dairy cooperative, how much of it goes to the members, and how much of it is kept by the cooperative? So that will be the last question. Thank you.
So to start with the first one, do we have any other business activities linked to the dairy cooperative? At the moment, we are beginning one. As I have said, we have been able to come up with a company that is making dairy feeds, the company called Meru Millers. We are looking to also be able to make fodder for other animals, and you do know that we are dairy cooperative society, so we only need feeds for cows. So the other ones, like say for chicken, for pigs, we are doing that as another means of generating more income for the company. So for the other part of field visits and tourism, we allow that, but we do not charge. We do not charge children who are visiting. They visit a lot, by the way. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. They come there for career days, because the other benefit that we also have as a dairy cooperative society is that the company employs engineers. It employs like say engineering, there's a mechanical engineer, there's an electrical engineer, there's a production manager, there's a HR, there's an IT manager, there are salespeople, there are marketing people. So our child is able to meet people from all cadres when they come. So it can also provide them with an insight into which career they wish to take when they grow up. For adults or special groups, mainly when adults come, they mainly come from other dairy societies, and we also do not charge them. It's a way for them to also come and benchmark. They come to see what we are doing, how far we've grown. So for that, we don't usually charge them. But for people to come as individuals is not usually allowed. Mainly, they just come as special interest groups. Say maybe they are looking to start a small processing plant in another region of Kenya. So they just request through the management, and then for a day that is not as busy, they're taken on a factory tour, so they're able to see our machines, how we make milk, how we press our milk, so on and so forth. The second question is, are we part of a national dairy cooperative federation in Kenya? Not really, because we are more of the dairy society is farmer owned. It is not owned by one individual. It is collectively owned by the farmers. So say even if you wish to like purchase the company, say you purchase and monetize it as a day as now a for profit company, you can't really do that, because as much as we follow our regulation from the government, we are not really affiliated with the government as such. But from time to time, there are times we've been able to get support from the government. They support the initiatives that we have done since they've seen the strides we've been able to make to be able to grow to where we are. Because at the moment here in Kenya, there are only two large dairy processors, and for us, we have publicly declared our milk intake. So at least in that way, we can be able to even trace how many liters were sold for this product, that other product, so on and so forth. For profit companies, they're very hideous here in Kenya, because you can't know how much milk they are producing, where they are getting their milk, because their main aim is to make profit for the company and not to support the farmer like we are doing. And I think it's a big appeal, and that's why it has really supported the growth of farmers here in Kenya. And it has really also aided in the growth of the company, and that's why the farmers really trust us with their milk. So the next question was how much of the profit is distributed to the members and how much is retained by the cooperative. So in terms of retaining, they don't retain as much. Mainly if they retain, part of it is mainly goes to investment. And then because say like now we are looking to increase production to over certain product, because mainly we increase production of a certain product depending on the market. Like how we are planning to venture into Uganda and Tanzania, we are going to do a market survey and see what products do they want. Do they want butter? Do they want ghee? Do they want pasteurized milk? Do they want milk for kids? So on and so forth. So the first and a foremost person that gets a percentage of their profit is the farmer, and so that they can look to increase. Say if a farmer has 5 cows, they get a bonus for 2 years. So they might even increase the number of cows they have. They might even add a credit facility and say they add their own cooler, they recruit more farmers. So by giving them some of the profits, we're encouraging them to get to produce more milk basically. Then after the farmer gets the bonus, they get the huge chunk of the profits mainly goes to the farmers. And then after the farmers, now the employees, they get half their salary as a bonus. So say if I earn 1,000 Kenyan shillings, so I'll get 500 Kenyan shillings more on a specific month of the year, depending on when we close the year. And then the balance that remains now is retained by the cooperative, and now they can use it it mainly goes to investment, or probably just saving money for a future cause. The next question is difficulties we encountered in the beginning, and how did you overcome the difficulties? So the main difficulty that I had in the beginning was starting a dairy cooperative society here in Kenya was a bit difficult, because there are some of the farmers who are already established. They had places where they could take their own milk. But now introducing the idea that you have to give your milk to now someone to process it and pack it for you and sell it on your behalf was a new method for a farmer. So convincing them to be able to pull together was not as easy. And then there was a bit of an ethnicity divide here in Kenya. Now, initially back then, because Kenya has around 40, 42 tribes. So trying to get them on board was more of a challenge. But now, by virtue of the fact that they've seen, they've been able to see the benefit that comes with being together as a dairy cooperative society, outweighed the differences that they had seen. And by virtue of the fact that now the dairy cooperative society was able to build a brand now, the Mount Kenya Milk brand, they saw that, oh, Mount Kenya has become a brand, it's a household brand. And by virtue of seeing the successes that we have been able to come up with, now they came on board and they saw the benefits of that. The other challenge that we have also faced is that in the beginning, education in Kenya was more of a challenge. So basically, the farmers that were there, they were farmers because probably their father was a farmer, their grandfather was a farmer. So for them to now employ the new methods of now farming was a bit of a task. But having seen now, like say for example, you can be able to cold milk, because in the past, say you produce around 50 liters of milk, and you can you're only able to sell say like 25 liters of milk. Once milk is exposed to air, you only have around 1 or 2 days before it goes bad. So if you're not able to sell the rest of the milk, the only other thing you can do is either consume it or dispose it. So now, by them seeing that there are new modern methods, now at least we were able to overcome the difficulties that the farmers used to have. The next question was, how do we manage the difference of opinion among members? So by virtue of having a board of management, they are the final say, because they are normally elected by farmers themselves. They normally have small elections from time to time. They have a small constitutions by themselves, so they entrust the delegates and the board of management to be able to make decisions on behalf of the company. So as much as they might have differences of opinion, by having a structure of governance, they're able to like tackle the small issues here and there that come up. And we are fortunate to have a very learned and able CEO. I think if you check our website, you can be able to see who has really grown the company. He's a visionary leader. So he has a bit of let me not say genius in him. It's just that by virtue of the fact that they've seen his how he's been able to steer the company, they're able to even entrust him to even make some of the decision on behalf. So in that way, they've been able to tackle the issue of difference of opinion. The next question was, do you have any business opportunities? Would you mind repeating the last question, if you don't mind? Do you mind repeating the last question
Hello.
again?
Mr. Mwangi, there are two more questions, which were, are you taxed by the government, and if so, at what rate? And then the second question was, what is the balance between exports to other African countries compared to exports to countries outside Africa? So those are the last two questions left.
So yes, we are taxed by the government. We are not exempt from tax. Actually, we pay a lot of tax, but the government has not taxed the products that we make. Milk in Kenya is not taxed at all, at all, at all. But some of the byproducts of milk, they are usually taxed. the moment you add anything to milk, it is taxed. And then once we buy equipment, we are also taxed import duty, because some of the equipment that we buy for packing milk, we mainly source from Europe. So once we import, say, a machine to pack milk, a homogenizer, a Tetra Pak filling machine, we will be charged an import duty by the government. The pack mat, there is the pack mat that we also purchase to be able to put the milk. It is taxed. There is a value added tax on it, 16%. What other tax do we pay? So when we pay employees, the government, they tax the employees as well. As employees, we normally pay a tax called pay as you earn. So they are taxed, and then there are small statutory deductions that we are also taxed by the government. The balance between exports in Africa. At the moment, what is the balance between the exports to other African countries compared to export to countries outside Africa? To other African countries. At the moment, the only milk we've been able to export is just a fraction of it. We did last year to northern Tanzania, the northern part up to Moshi, Arusha, and then a bit of Uganda, the Busia in Uganda. We do small quantities. Mainly, we've done that. I can't really quantify it, but it's not a lot. Say, for example, in northern Tanzania, we were doing around 50,000 liters. It's not much milk, and sometimes when the prices go high, we don't sell, because there is a bit of a fluctuation of milk prices, especially due to the fact that, as I had mentioned, the cost of production, it really fluctuates sometimes, say, depending on the cost of production, the cost of fuel, so on and so forth. So at the moment, what the team, the export a team is working on is being able to see how much are we consuming here in Kenya, because for the goal of attaining 1 million liters, I think you can be able to see that at the moment, because we normally, in terms of sales, we do around 600 or 550,000 liters a day for sale. There are a few stocks that usually remain. So the surplus is what now we are looking to see if we can export it elsewhere. And at the same time, for the growth of the company, I think because within the Kenyan market, we've been able to say like more of concrete, and having the potential to reach 1 million liters, I think we can be able to see that north of 600,000 would be a bit of a surplus. So I think in terms of balance, will be more of 60% in Kenya, 40 maybe for exports. I hope there's no other question I've left unanswered. And then if there's another question, I can probably answer before we end the session. Back to you, moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mwangi. Last question would be, from a research and development perspective, what relationships do you have with research centers, particularly in areas such as animal feed, breeds, and product diversification? I don't know if that's clear.
Try. So we have partnerships with our research centers, particularly because of mainly it lies with extension services. Because like now there are some cow breeds that we didn't initially have here in Kenya. I myself was very shocked to hear of a cow producing 50 liters a day. So in terms of research, there's a lot that we usually do, especially in extension services. And then also there's a bit of research that is done in regards to yogurt and probiotic yogurt. There's a lot of study with bacteria I normally see them do. So, and in that, we are able to probably be able to come up with different products, and then also to be able to monitor the quality of the products that we make, because there's a legislation in Kenya by the quality body in Kenya. It's called Kenya Bureau of Statistics. So they normally do research. They normally do some research from time to time. So I think I've been able to answer that to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I know that we've gone a little beyond the time that we anticipated to close, but thank you for your patience, and thank you also for taking the time to answer all the questions. I would like to thank you for the time in talking about Mount Meru Dairy Cooperative. We appreciate the insightful presentation, and also the time that you've taken to answer all the questions that have come up. I'd like to also thank our interpreters, Laurent and Meru, for providing us with interpretation into French. I'd like to also thank the Executive Council of Cooperation Africa and the staff of Cooperation Africa as well. Please note that a recording of this webinar would be uploaded on our website and on our YouTube page, Cooperation Africa. So the YouTube handle is Cooperation Africa, and the website is www.cooperationafrica.org. So you can visit the website for the recording, and also to check out information on our upcoming conference and our current issue of Mapigo. I'd like to thank all of you for your time. Please share the link whenever we send out the information for the next webinar, and we hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.